This is Brian of London. Brian of London outside the British Embassy in the beautiful Tel Aviv setting sun, which is setting just over there. Oh, so this is the golden hour for photography. Yeah, we have the sun and we have freedom of speech and we can stand here and we can say FreeTommy. I tell you, we've had tourists walk up, ask us what's happening. I was just speaking to some tourists from Britain who support Tommy.
Freedom of speech and Britain don't.
Exactly. We live in a highly militarized state, apparently, and we have better freedom of speech than you do back in the UK. Anyway, this is... The turnout's been immense, actually, really, considering just how unknown this cause is here. I'm impressed. And what we're doing here, it's just, what it is to do. It's to say to those of you in power in Britain, those of you who think that you need to submit to Islam, to be dhimmis, to be dhimmitudes, to be subservient and to submit to your Islamic overlords because you are fearful of the reaction if you fight back, to the leadership of Britain, because the people are not like this. Where are the people? Where is the spirit of Churchill? Where are the people who came up from the shelters in the Blitz, carried on with their life? Where are those people? And to you, to the British people, what are you doing with leaders like this, like Theresa May? Theresa May, as Home Secretary, banned Pamela Geller and Robert Spencer, two of the finest people I know speaking about Islam. Robert Spencer has written book after book after book. Nobody has ever managed to come with a cogent criticism of any one of Robert's books, okay? You can't do it because he's right. He's a scholar. You banned him from the country because you were fearful of the reaction of your population, the population that you're courting for votes. Theresa May, you banned him. And do you know who invited Pamela Geller and Robert Spencer to the UK when they were banned by Theresa May? Guess. I bet you can't guess. Well, it's in Pamela's book if you want to know. Tommy Robinson invited them to the UK. It's all linked. It's all linked. And now, Theresa May, it's taken her a year or so to engineer the conditions into which she could just slap Tommy into prison. And now she's managed it. So she's got Tommy in prison. She's got him where she wants him. And she even managed to get a judge to issue a gagging notice, a D notice, so that you in Britain can't talk about it. Perfect, she thought. She can go away to Chequers for the weekend and put her feet up and have a lovely time and a glass of sherry. Well, Theresa May, you put him in prison on a Friday, and by Saturday morning, hundreds of thousands of people in America and across the world, including bloody Tel Aviv, look at this. We've got Arabs trying to kill us on every border, yet we're taking the time out of our day to say free Tommy Robinson. Theresa May, you did this. The judge in the case in Leeds, you did this. You did this. And you thought this would be quiet. You thought you'd just put Tommy in prison, maybe he'd get beaten up, maybe he'd give up, he'd stop talking about this stuff. Well, you didn't. And you also thought maybe people will stop talking about the rape gangs up and down your country for the last 40 years. And the people in the councils who are complicit, the people in the councils and the police who are complicit in the rape of your children. You thought that would just go away. Well, it won't, because there's a book called Easy Meat by my friend Peter McLaughlin. And funnily enough, Tommy is the key to that too, because it was through the EDL that both Peter McLaughlin and I first learnt of the rape gangs roaming your country for 40 years, all from one community and one identity. Not a race. It's not a race or racial thing. See my YouTube videos on Easy Meat, because that's the name of the one and only book on this subject. It's not about a race. It's about an ideology that says you can take anything that your right hand possesses. That's what is causing your rape gang epidemic in the UK. And the more than 300 people who have been convicted, but that's nothing. 40 years it's been going on. 1,400 victims in Rotherham alone. One of the girls said she was raped by 30 men in a single night. How do you think that 300 people locked up accounts for 40 years. It doesn't. And how many men who did this, who raped young non-Muslim girls, kafar girls, Sikh girls as well, though the Sikhs woke up to this very early and started protecting their children in the way that, unfortunately, the indigenous population of Britain was prevented from doing. How on earth do you think that locking up 300 men, another 30 if that happens in Leeds if they're found guilty, because of course they're innocent, how do you think that accounts for 40 years of this crime? Doesn't. You're nowhere near close. And what about all of the ones who must be working in councils and in the police? What are you doing? Has any single child protection officer been at least reprimanded? Not to my knowledge. Has anyone in the police been reprimanded for dereliction of duty when these girls came in, raped? 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old girls who had obviously had sex, who were asking for contraception, who were asking for day after contraception, and you said that they were just slags and they deserved it. Has anyone who did that been prosecuted? Not to my knowledge yet. You're going to have to start doing that soon. And even if it costs you votes, and even if it upsets one element of the population, you're going to have to start, because if you don't, it could get really nasty. Tommy was bringing attention to all of that, and I suspect putting him in prison is going to make it worse, because there will be a third edition of Easy Meat. Peter has to update the book because he has to add Telford to it, and he has to add all the things that Tommy's done in the last year and a half. And who knows, when the third edition of Easy Meat comes out, remember, Peter's already co-authored a book with Tommy Robinson. Perhaps you'll find that Easy Meat, the third edition, the next edition, that could be a real bestseller. And people will start to learn not just sound bites, but the real details of the cover-up, of the crimes, and how it came to pass that Britain has let hundreds of thousands, maybe 1 million of its daughters be raped by gangs of men who do not regard kuffar women as human. It's a very, very serious charge. And you are raising the profile. You who locked Tommy up, you're raising the profile and the chances of that. Anyway, see you all next year in Jerusalem for the Eurovision Song Contest!